going on YouTube? It's the Dirty Harry back with another video. This video right here that I'm about to do, it's based on a lot of things. I sat up this morning, you know, getting ready and shit, and then I was like, I thought about, the battle of the bands, Linkin Park versus Rage Against the Machine, and I might do something like that later on. But right now, I want to break down the top 16 current MCs in the rap game, in my opinion. Now, first off, before you start flaming me, what about this guy in the underground in Connecticut I never heard of? That's why I'm not doing underground cats, because there are 5 billion underground cats around the world in the UK, Chicago, Texas. And if I name someone from the underground in Chicago you've never heard of, you're going to be like, well, what are you basing that off of? So I'm doing mainstream cats, 16 mainstream cats, and how I'm grading them. I'm grading them on the following: creativity, lyrical ability, marketability, their technique, and their staying power. We all know what creativity is. Don't even need to go into that. Lyrical ability, explainable, marketability. Can you this person play a concert everywhere? How successful are they? Their technique, um, which coincides with lyrical ability, but it's also about the ability to rap at different tempos, make diss records, make any kind of record, whatever. Staying power. Will people talk about these MCs 10, 15 years later? I don't know how long this video is, but let me start with Mr. Jay-Z. Score, creative ability, 3.5. Lyrical ability, a 4. Marketability, 5. Technique, 4.5. Success and staying power, 5. Notable songs, because I'm only going to do at the most 4 per person. If Jay-Z died today and I had to tell you 4 Jay-Z songs to listen to explain how he was, which ones would they be? Death of Autotune, Dead Presidents 2, Big Pimpin', and Excuse Me Miss. Lasting impression of Jay-Z, my final remark on him is, you can't argue with the man's success, but he bites Biggie's lyrics, and to this day, he still keeps doing it. And most of his songs are about the same shit again and again. If you go through his whole discography, you may be able to pull out 20 or so songs that are something different. But most of his songs are about the same shit, which is a qualm that we have with most rappers to this day. Jay-Z leads with a 22. Next rapper, Kanye West. Creativity, 5. Obviously. Lyrical ability, 3.5. Marketability, 4.5. Technique, 4.5. Staying power, 5. Notable tracks, Flashing Lights, Diamonds from Sierra Leone, Hell of a Life, amazing. Kanye is a fucking genius. He can do it all, but he's not as lyrical as some MCs. Kanye was the hardest person on this list to pick tracks from, because I could literally go down his whole discography and I had to debate which ones to put here, because his albums are that fucking good. I'm gonna try not to use mixtapes in this one, because not everyone's heard everyone's mixtape, and Lil Wayne's got a new mixtape every week. So next up on the list, Ludacris, one of my favorite MCs growing up. Creative ability, 2.5. I know y'all like, what? Just hear me out. Lyrical ability, 4.5. Marketability, 3.5. Technique, 4. Staying power, 3.5. Now this is why Ludacris gets a 2.5 in creativity. Most of his songs are about getting some ass. Ass, ass, ass. It's like listening to a 2 Live Crew album, except he's got, what, 4, 5, 6 albums about ass. And every now and then Luda does change it up. He'll make a song about something a little different, like Runaway Love. But when he makes songs like that, as a fan, you're so in tune with him talking about ass. It's like listening to Linkin Park's last 2 albums for a hardcore Linkin Park fan, if you know what I'm saying. You listen to the whole album, you got songs like My Bitch Bad, and then you got What's Your Fantasy, and I know when Love comes on, you're like, what the fuck? You know, it comes out of nowhere and it surprises you. And even if it's a good track, you're like, it's not you, Luda. But notable tracks for Luda: Southern Fried, which really demonstrates to me his technique, because he can flow at any speed, his freestyle ability is fucking ridiculous. Maybe I should have made his technique higher, but anyway. Splash Waterfalls, Diamond in the Back, And I'll still put Runaway Love up there just because it does show he tries from time to time. Ludacris with 18. T.I. Let me go to T.I. I gotta follow up Luda with T.I., right? For those who know the history of what I'm talking about. T.I. Creativity, 3.5. Lyrical ability, a 4. Marketability, 3.5. Technique, 3.5. Staying power, 4. Now, Ti would be much higher if he would have kept himself out of jail, because Ti keeps going to jail for all this shit. That's why his marketability is a lot lower. Because before he went to jail, y'all saw that man on everything. This motherfucker was on the OC singing "Bring 'Em Out," he surrounded by a bunch of white people on the OC, rapping "Bring 'Em Out." That's how marketable he was. But now he keeps going to jail for the same shit over and over again, and it hurts him marketably. To cap off Ti, 18 and a half. Notable tracks: Rubber Band Man, Let's Get Away, Live Your Life, and What You Know. All right, next up, we got 50, Mr. 50 Cent. Creatability, 1. Lyrical ability, 4. Marketability, 5. Technique, 4. Staying power, 4. Notable songs: Heat, AO Technology, God Gave Me Style, Hustler's Ambition. Alright, now here's the thing about 50. If you heard one G Unit album, you have heard them all. You have heard them all. You know, how many songs are we gonna hear about 50 shooting somebody or stabbing somebody? It's the same shit over and over again. With maybe one or two party songs and one track for the ladies on every album. It's the same formula. And just to make his list of his 4 notable songs, when I first did it, I had 4 tracks from Get Rich or Die Trying. And then I was like, nah, let me rehash that. That's not his only album, but it's the only album to this day that people will flat out bump. There's no debating which one was better among most of his fans. So that's why I made his creativity so low, because it's the same shit over and over again. You know, I mean, every now and then he tries to give us something different, but it still boils down to the same shit. So 50 Cent with 18 points. Next up, Eminem. Creatability, 5. Lyrical ability, 5. Marketability, 4. Technique, 5. Staying power, 5. Already you could already guess Eminem's score right off the bat. I don't have to even list 4 songs for this, man. I could list one song of his that can kill almost everybody on this list, and that's "Stand" from the Marshall Mathers LP. One of the most creative songs ever fucking did. The only reason that makes Eminem so hard to market is he's got 10 million songs about wanting to kill his wife or rape his mom or something crazy. You can't put a guy like that on Nick Jr. singing some shit like that, but that's not his audience. But at the same time, in terms of marketability, that's the only thing that knocked him down from being a perfect score. Eminem with 24. Next up, Lupe Fiasco, one of my favorite MCs on this list. Alright, Lupe, creatability, 4. Lyrical ability, 5. I wish I could make it a 10, but I'm only doing the scores from 1 to 5. Marketability, 2.5. Technique, 5. Staying power, 4. Songs, Superstar, The Show Goes On, Bitch Bad, and Go Watch. Now, Lupe, I shouldn't even have to say this shit. For anyone who's heard Lupe and compared him to almost every rapper born, Lupe is a lyrical genius. He's untouchable lyrically. But the problem with Lupe is he's like a character from a book or a movie that they're so overpowered that you can't put them in every scene. Because you already know, oh, we can't go against the good guys because so and so, the Hulk is with the Avengers. We can't beat this guy. It's kind of like that for me with Lupe. His lyrics are so fucking good, they go over people's heads. You know, if you're a casual hip hop fan, you don't listen to rap for lyrics, you listen to, you know, the Young Money mainstream shit, and you hear a Lupe thing, it's gonna go over your head, and you're not gonna know what he's talking about. It's not gonna occur to you to dig more into the lyrics to see what is he really talking about, and then come back the next day like, oh, damn, that's some deep shit, you know. So that's the thing about Lupe. He's so overpowered that you can't market him. You can't have Lupe, you know, at every single concert. You can put him at, you know, where the hardcore hip hop fans are gonna be, but you can't, you know, kick him up to white America. That's not saying white people don't listen to rap. I know a lot of white boys who listen to rap. I know a lot of white MCs who are just as good as or better than black MCs, but you can't put Lupe anywhere, which is what hurts his marketability, and also what it also hurts them trying to sell his music, which is pretty fucked up in my opinion. But it's something Lupe struggled with his whole career, but he's getting better at. You saw Jay Z and everybody else on his list do it. You know, when they make the mixtapes, they're all so lyrical, and then they have to dumb their lyrics down just to sell more. But it's Lupe fiasco right there for you. Score 20 and a half, just because his marketability hurts him. Next up, Kid Cudi, another artist I like. Kid Cudi, creativity, 4. Lyrical ability, 3. Marketability, 3. Technique, 3.5. Staying power, 3.5. Songs, Mr. Rager, Day and Night, Alive, and Just What I Am. Kid Cudi is stoner music at its finest. His lyrics are not on the scale of Lupe or even close to Lupe or almost anyone on this list. They're not bad though. You know, they're tolerable if you just want a good listen, you just want to chill. You know, Cudi's gonna be that guy who 5 years from now people still bring up in conversation, but it's not gonna have the impact of someone like, oh yeah, yeah man, that motherfucker Eminem used to get in there. You gotta talk about Cudi like, oh yeah, I remember that song, yeah, yeah, you know, kind of same way we talk about Phil Collins nowadays. You know, everyone knows that In the Air Tonight, and they bring out, oh yeah, he made good music, and they just move on. You know, so Kid Cudi, the 17 points. All right, I might have only time to do one or two more artists on this list, so it's probably gonna be a two-part video. Next up, Rick Ross, someone who I love to talk about. Rick Ross, creative ability, 3.5. Lyrical ability, 3.5. Because other people write his shit. Marketability, 3.5. Technique, 3. Staying power, 3.5. Notable songs, Diced Pineapples, Maybach music. I'm gonna say 3, but any Maybach music that he makes. Amsterdam and Aston Martin music. Rick Ross's career will be more remembered because of the Officer Ricky scandal than anything else. But the thing that hurts Ross, in my opinion, is when he's in the studio trying to be a studio gangster rapping about moving cocaine and all this shit. And we know you used to be a cop, man. They got documents of your payroll on the internet, man. You know, and then it's not that he used to be a cop, it's that he lied about it. When they asked about it, first he was like, no, no, it wasn't me. And then a month later, you see him on Double XL magazine. Yeah, it was me. Everything I said was 100% real. You know, how are you as a fan supposed to mind to that shit? But what helps Ross is when he stops being a studio gangster and just makes good music. When he makes songs like Diced Pineapples, when he makes, you know, Aston Martin music in Amsterdam. Yeah, he makes a reference to a gangster in those songs, but it's more funny to me than anything. You know, it's entertaining. I'm gonna continue the Ross rant in the next video because I don't have time to fucking completely finish it. So that was part one. Rick Ross with 17 points of this. You doing part two in a minute.